Bridge, look with the Geeches. My name's Steve, and today we are doing a custom of the 1989 Godzilla from NECA. Got an extra one in, so we're going to have a little bit of fun with this guy. The game plan here is to convert this into a Super Godzilla. If you don't know what that is, it's a version of Godzilla, that appeared in the Super Nintendo game, Super Godzilla. Oh man, I'm trying to remember exactly how it happens. Like, he has to go around and get points, he gets powers, or power-ups, and then eventually becomes a pretty much super souped-up Space Godzilla. So, we're gonna make that. Shouldn't be super complicated. It's pretty much just adding some armor plates over the chest, greasing the shoulder pads. We gotta add a little bit to the head. My dog's scratching. And he has like some bits on the end of the tail. So I'm gonna go ahead and start sculpting the parts onto here, and then we'll go from there. we got the Super Godzilla all sculpted up. Next is the paint job. I know I missed a couple things you guys might not have seen. Added some spikes. Rest of his shoulder pads are done. Top of his brow is all set up. Don't have my studio lighting here really all set up for shape. Probably bring this down a little bit so you guys can maybe see this better. Bless you. Sneezing in my video. Anyways, but you guys get a good look at him. Next is going to be paint job. What I'm thinking, looking through this anyways, is in the game, it's like a lot of blacks and purples with some greens. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be doing the entire thing. I don't think I'm going to go quite black to be super harsh. Probably like a pavement. Spray this entire guy down and then start doing all the dry brushing. Normally, for something with joints, I would probably tear it apart to do this. I feel like I should. Not going to. Because the tail is the only part that's really concerning for me, because after doing this, the shoulders aren't coming back off. So, a lot of this I can, after airbrushing it, well, to be honest, I could probably just paintbrush the entire thing, because now you can really see the brush strokes. And I can get in the nitty gritty. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll just paintbrush this guy. We'll get the airbrush out later. Well, for clear coating, not painting purposes. Anyways, moving on. One thing I will mention while painting this is with the scaling, because since I'm using a brush, you want to try to go with the scales when you want to get inside of the crevices. Don't go heavy. Try to keep it as light as you can, because the heavier you go, the more the paint's going to stick in there and you're going to lose a lot of your detailing. So you want to go light. But when doing this section, you want to kind of go with the scales so that you get into every nook and cranny. And then when we go to add our purple to it, you want to go against the grain so that you don't fill in the crevices. Because this is kind of like our undercoat for the skin, and the purple is going to be over top of this. But should look cool. Should have a nice little contrast to it. And then shine it up later with the March Pudge. Also, just if you want to cheat, if you don't have an airbrush to try to get every nook and cranny, hair dryer comes in handy. Like for this section here, I can just sit here until it dries up. And you'll notice it's dry once you, there's no more, it doesn't look wet anymore. And then you just articulate it as far as you can to one side. You'll see I kind of got in the crevices pretty well, but you just take your brush, just dig it in there. Because once you know how far you can articulate it, that's about as much coverage as you really need. And for the most part, especially if you're doing one of these for yourselves, you can honestly just kind of pose it how you want and then paint it. Because then if you're, it kind of saves you some time. Because if you're going to keep the thing, and you know you're not going to really be playing with it too much, which I kind of recommend when you're doing something like this afterwards, is to not mess around with it too much, because the more you mess with it, the more the paint's going to come off, depending on what you're using. I know for this stuff, like, it's decently durable, because even like using the cheap stuff, I'm not using gloss on this, but just as an example, it's inexpensive paint, which is good for this stuff, but excessive play can rub it off. But that looks pretty good there. So then just make sure I go over to this other side. I gotta do my coverage for this, and the same thing. Just go with the scaling, make sure it's covered nicely, and then we'll pose it, and then hopefully it should be about it. Then we can start doing our purple. And then I gotta do the face still, but that's gonna be with a smaller brush, and I'm gonna have to touch up, because I want to try to keep the teeth and the eyes and the inside of the mouth relatively intact. Because the only thing we're really doing to the eyes is adding some green instead of the white for the portion of the eyes. Everything else can kind of stay the same. Alright, so he's all grayed up now. Next is dry brushing the purple. And doing the green for the last. Purple was, actually hold on, I gotta go find it. Alright, just tell you exactly, what I'm using is a purple pansy for the skin texturing. We'll think about maybe going with a lighter color, but I think this one would do the trick. If you want to know what I use for the base, it is a pavement. And then, actually I was looking at it, see a couple more problems. So, I'm going to touch up a couple things, and then we'll go to the dry brushing. Alright, so just show you guys real quick, and then I'll probably cut to doing the green. But you just want to take your purple, take quite a bit of it off. My brush still feels kind of wet, I think. I guess it's alright. Just felt like it was a little wet. Don't be afraid to get to paint on yourself either, because the nice thing, washes off really easy. But again, just take a little bit of purple, and you just want to go against the green. So just lightly go over it. You want to keep your brush as sideways as possible, because we don't want to fill in the pavement detail we did underneath. And then you just do this for pretty much the entirety of the figure. You don't really need to go over the chest and this, well, spines you'll still have to. Pretty much the chest is really the only thing you can fully skip out on. Like, you could, don't be afraid to get some in the certain details, because like this is gonna become green. We're gonna do the eyes, around the eyes, and I think that's about it. Everything else is gonna be purple. I don't know if this is pop as fresh as I want it to. Like, you definitely tell the color difference. I guess we could try this one real quick. Oh, there we go. I like that. Okay, we'll do that. I think that pops out a little better. Yeah, liking that. Doesn't look as mute now. Like, it looks about the same color. I don't understand. Yep, just like this. It's time consuming, but just take your time. Just make sure you go over the entire figure. Again, don't go super hard on the detailing. If you think you didn't put enough dry brushing in certain spots, you can always come back. Alright, Godzilla's blue, or purple. Purple. Purple is the magic color. But anyways, we're going to add the green, and then pretty much it. It's not going to be too colorful, to say the least. Well, colorful, but not diversified, I guess. Alright, so for the green, I'm actually going to make mine. I'm going to mix some neon yellow with some palm leaf to get the sort of green I think I'm going for. At least I'm hoping that's going to be the right thing. Also, just to let you know, I mixed together purple pansy and petunia purple to make the purple on him. Because essentially, you could just probably add a little bit of white to this too, if you really wanted to, for the purple pansy to replicate the same look. Anyways, we're just going to start mixing until I can get something that resembles that green. On a high note, we got the green we needed. A little too much green, if I do say. It's one thing I have a problem with is I go really overboard when pouring paint. I can usually get the color that I want, but I always have like way too much of it. Anyways, same technique. Just going to be lightly going over this. I really want less paint on this brush though, I think. But just gonna, because I still want like the little bumps to kind of show up here and there. I don't really want to go into the crevices. Pretty easy. Just don't go too hard on it. This I'm going to have to recolor anyways, I realized, because it's not actually green. But just going to do this section, top of the crown, and then we're going to go over the edges of the spines. Just going to kind of lightly coat them. Just go around, if you will. But again, we'll come back once I get this all set up. Alright, so you see here, we got him painted up. He's got his green going on with the crest here on his chest. Got the dorsal spines done. Same with the little spiky bit on the tail. Next is just I was debating on what I want to do, because personally I almost like the claws being the purple. I think it's kind of cool. You see some of the sprites in the game. Sorry, a little burpy. It with the purple as well. And I was kind of thinking about leaving it, but then I see like some of the sprites have like, it's almost like a light gray over top of the nails. And because I'm leaving the teeth alone, the teeth in the mouth, I definitely want to at least paint like the teeth around the mouth. So if I'm doing that, I might as well do the nails. So we're gonna do that. Then it's pretty much just clear coating on this guy, and essentially done.
Alright, so just to show you guys real quick the finished Super Godzilla product. Overall, really pleased with it. You guys can see, got super metallic-y, shiny gobstopper of a little gem on its chest. Neon green for the armor plating here. The shoulder pads. Probably could have made the spikes a little bit bigger in hindsight, but pretty pleased with the way they look overall. Just super tiny. Mainly kept them the way that they were, just so that I could still pose if I wanted to. But purple turned out really nice on it. Really like the use of the really dark gray for the undercoat. I think it's turned out really nice. Spines look really cool with the same neon green for the chest. For the most part, pretty basic colors. Neon green for the tail spikes on the end here. Decided to paint the nails in just because in the game it looked like they were kind of, to me it looked like, depending on like the sprites, it would either be painted or, well, not painted, but they would have some color to them, or they would just match the body. So I just decided, for the most part, when you see the close-ups of the head, which you guys can see, turned out really nice. I think I like the use of the green for the neon eye, neon green for the eyes, I should say. Even highlighted the teeth a little bit more, just so they would stand out, which looks really cool. Again, overall, pretty happy with it. You can see on the back here too. I think I could have made it a little bit cleaner on the back here to match the body. For the most part, sculpting for me is still a fairly new process, so definitely learning as I go. But I think the shoulders overall matches the skin detail pretty decently. I think if I did another attempt on this, I could probably get it a little bit closer, but not too bad. But let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, if the NECA 89 Godzilla made for a decent base. Personally, I think it's probably the best one out there outside of just using a Monster Arts, but definitely a lot cheaper to use this guy, and I think overall pretty serviceable. Like the stuff hooked on it really nice. I like the body shape to it, and same with the head. I think him having like the larger eyes and stuff kind of replicate the game a little bit better. But you can let me know if you guys think there's possibly better bases. I kind of want to do a Bagan. Not sure what to use for that though, because Destroyer would make the most sense, I would think. But for the Destroyer anyways, get kind of pricey for that kind of custom. There's not really like a cheap option outside of like using a Playmates, but then that doesn't look as good. Like next to them, you would definitely be able to tell the difference in quality. Well, yeah, also I forgot to mention the little difference in the chest. I think turned out really nice too. And again, still has the posability, which is really nice. But help us defeat those kaiju by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.